only have one mirror in my apartment. Well, technically, 2 mirrors, if you count the one above the sink in the bathroom, but I just have a lot of trouble looking at myself. If you told me 5 years ago what recovery would be like for me, I don't know if I would leap into your arms or run away in fear. See, the thing is about recovery, it's not always what you think it is in the end. At the time when I was struggling with my eating disorder, my biggest fear was gaining weight. I knew I wanted to recover because I was absolutely miserable, but I didn't realize that recovery wouldn't just mean finding a healthy way to stay skinny. It would mean coming to a point where I literally don't care anymore if I am skinny or not. Recovery for me was realizing that my size didn't determine my value. It was letting go of any expectations of what I think my body should look like, or at least what I felt that my weight should be at. And when I realized I was trans, I felt afraid too, to be honest. I was afraid that nobody would love me if I transitioned. And I realized that it was the same fear I had when I was dealing with my eating disorder. I was afraid that nobody would love me because of my weight. And it was just strange to me to realize that I was putting so much emphasis on others potentially not loving me. And for a while I was under the impression that I had worked through those issues. And so I thought that this was resolved. I thought that I had reached this place where, hey, look at me, I don't really care what other people think. I love myself. And although I still struggle with my eating disorder and with dysphoria, overall, I accept myself. Here's the thing, though. Having never actually worked through my feelings of self-loathing and the fear that I had of being undesirable to others, those feelings just found a new chair to sit in. I've been having a lot of trouble with getting things done, leaving my house, seeing the people that I love. It's been getting worse and worse. It feels like every time I try to explain something, I immediately start to panic and worry that I am not explaining things well, that the things I'm saying are ridiculous, and then it's just like these mental blocks in my head, and it feels like they're impossible to push through. I've been trying to understand, is this something to do with my ADHD? Is this an anxiety thing? It took me a long time to understand what the cause was of those feelings. Nobody likes to admit that they hate themselves because it sounds self-deprecating, and it, quite frankly, makes me feel a little pathetic. But that's how I've been feeling. I realized that the pressure I put on myself when I make content, the pressure I put on myself when I just speak, the pressure I put on myself when I leave my house and I worry that maybe I'm going to use too much of my energy and that means that the video I put out that week will be terrible or the commission that I do won't be good enough. And I just think that every shred of myself, every little bit of energy that I have needs to go into making something and making sure that it's great. It comes from that same place of self-hatred. And I've realized that I'm just making these things and focusing so fiercely on making sure that the things I make are perfect because I think that if I make those things and I make them just right, then maybe, just maybe, there'll be a reason to love me. But here's what I've learned. You are inherently valuable. Your value doesn't reside in how many people like you or what you're making. Your value does not reside in your productivity or your net worth. You are valuable because you're you, and your voice matters. So use it. Self-love isn't just about the words we use. It's about catching yourself when you find yourself feeling like you don't deserve the love in your life. It's about catching yourself when you start to wonder if everyone around you hates you. Try to stop thinking that you are so easy to dislike. I think it's important to be considerate and compassionate toward the people around us, whether we know them personally or not. I think that it's important to be considerate of other people and their feelings, but I don't think that it is important to worry about whether or not they like you. So just try to focus on being good. I'm trying to just be a person that I like every day. And on days where I find it really hard, I try to surround myself with the people who do make me feel good. Having been in so many situations where I've lost the people that I love, sometimes it feels overwhelming. And it feels like the spaces they leave in my life are so vast that they'll never heal. They'll never close up. But what I've realized is that those spaces, they don't need to close. For every empty space I feel in my life where I've had to remove myself from an unhealthy situation, I realize that I've made more room to fill my life with the people and the things that make me feel more whole. If you find yourself weighing your worth based solely on whether or not people like you or the things that you're producing, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You matter, and the things you say matter, and your voice matters. You deserve to be here. You deserve to take up space, so use your voice and take your space.
This is my voice.
This is my voice. This is my voice. This is my voice. This is my voice. This is my voice. This is my voice.
This is my voice. 3 years on T, 3 years post-op, and a couple days into actively putting an effort into loving myself. I hope you do too.